Women in New Orleans played a significant role in the suffrage movement that led to the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. Yet the story of women's voting rights in New Orleans doesn't end in 1920, as Louisiana laws continue to disenfranchise Black citizens. Black women in New Orleans fought for access to the ballot up to and through the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. These 4 New Orleans locations are where significant events took place during a century of women's activism in the city. In 1878, an event at this site galvanized the women's suffrage movement in New Orleans. St. Anna's Asylum was a home for destitute white women and children, overseen by an all-female board. A resident left the asylum money in her will. The board members witnessed the will, but the court invalidated the bequest because women legally could not serve as testamentary witnesses. Suffragist Caroline Merrick described this incident as a pivotal moment. The bequest went to the state, and the women went to thinking and agitating. Merrick and several other white women petitioned the 1879 Louisiana Constitutional Convention to give women the right to vote, a petition that was denied. She was also a founding member of the Portia Club, Louisiana's first women's suffrage organization. African American women created their own suffrage organizations. This site was once the home of Sylvania Williams, an educator who founded the Phyllis Wheatley Club in 1894. The Phyllis Wheatley Club was a social, political, and literary organization that advocated for women's suffrage, education, healthcare, and childcare. In 1896, the club founded a medical clinic and nurses training school, which eventually became the Flint Goodrich Hospital and School of Nursing. The club also operated a kindergarten, a night school, and a daycare. For Phyllis Wheatley Club members, fighting for the right to vote was one of many ways they sought to improve the lives of Black women and children. In March 1903, the National American Women's Suffrage Association's annual convention was held in the building that previously stood at this location. The building was the Athenaeum, a popular event hall built in 1896. It was the first time the association met in the Deep South. Local and national leaders of the women's suffrage movement, including Susan B. Anthony, spoke before large crowds. White suffragists in New Orleans did not allow Black women to attend the convention. In response, Sylvania Williams invited Anthony and other national suffrage leaders to speak to the Phyllis Wheatley Club.
The colored woman has a crown of thorns continually pressed upon her brow. Yet she is advancing.
For more than 40 years, this site was the location of Katie's School of Beauty Culture and Barbering, which was owned and operated by Dr. Katie E. Wickham. In January 1955, Wickham founded the Metropolitan Women's Voters League at the beauty school. As president of the league, Wickham organized voter registration drives to encourage Black New Orleanians, especially women, to register to vote. The league also held voter registration classes at the beauty school to prepare Black citizens to navigate the registration forms, purposefully made difficult to keep Black voters off the rolls. Wickham also served as president of the National Beauty Culturist League, a professional organization for Black cosmetologists. She used this platform to advocate for voting rights for African Americans, encouraging beauticians and their customers to register to vote. In 1957, she featured Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as the keynote speaker at the organization's convention held in New Orleans. Together, these sites map out a century-long story of women's suffrage activism in New Orleans. We explore this history in our exhibition, Yet She is Advancing, New Orleans Women and the Right to Vote, 1878 to 1920. On display now through November 5th at the Historic New Orleans Collection. Visit our website for more information.